The Alarm NBA DFS Show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, everybody? Happy Friday, and welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS live stream. I am James Grande. I am your host, joined by Keith Eister. You can follow us on the old Twitter machine at _real_grande and EYS819DFS. Keith, what's going on, brother?
Not too much, man. Happy Friday. Glad to be back with you. Nice little 4-gamer here to roll us into the weekend. Can't have those late night games on a Friday. Nobody stays up on Friday night to watch those. So just got to roll with 4 games here tonight.
Dude, this time last week we were just giving DraftKings their props. Yeah. They were every game was on every slate all week last week. FanDuel, guess what, Keith? FanDuel tonight, 6 games.
Yeah.
I digress. You digress. we would spend the next 57 minutes if we could talking about why that feels wrong. And we're kind of wronged of like some pretty good late games too.
Yeah.
Shorthanded Clippers, Domantas Sabonis ruled out for the Kings. Shorthanded Grizzlies, possibly no Denny, likely no Denny, Portland Trailblazers. But alas, 4 games on the DraftKings main slate. Not a lot of spend-ups tonight. Just 3 players over $9,000. We did, despite the smaller slate, have some interesting news throughout the day. Karl Anthony Towns was downgraded to doubtful. OG Anunoby downgraded from probable to questionable. Josh Hart was upgraded to probable. And Kyle Kuzma was ruled out. Those were the notable, right? That's like the notable stuff we're looking at here. Yep. I guess Duren, but we kind of figured Duren would be questionable after leaving last night's game.
Yep.
Right, that's it. Ousmane Dieng available to make the Bucks debut. Yep. One of my favorite Bulls of all time, by the way.
Yeah. Nice short little stint there in the Dario Saric realm of Bulls legends.
Yeah. Yeah, one of my favorite, 2 of my favorites, Dario Saric. I almost got both their jerseys. I was so excited. Quick overhaul of the slate, Keith. Like, what's your first initial thoughts on this 4-gamer?
Yeah, despite the 4 games, there is quite a bit going on. Even some injury news that we still need. Also, some trade situations that haven't fully taken effect yet. Like Indiana made a nice move for Zubac, but he's not available yet. So now they're even more shorthanded than they were before the trade. No Isaiah Jackson there, very shorthanded in the front court. Then we have players who are becoming available for the first time, like Vucevic in Boston. So it is kind of a difficult slate with a lot of interesting angles to figure out. Obviously, we have some good matchups on the board. I think the Milwaukee-Indiana game, despite a low total, is intriguing. The big total in Minnesota, obviously, is the one that stands out.
Yeah, I have. Okay, before we have four games, so we should get through this quick. So I want to get your opinion on this. So did you see? So in that Zubac trade, did you see? It is a bizarre pick. The return. So basically, the Pacers, if they finish with the worst to 4th worst odds, they keep the pick. If it's 5 through 9, the Clippers get the pick. And then if it's 10th or if they're 10th worst or better, they keep the pick. The Pacers keep the pick. What do you and they're currently 3rd. What do you think? Because I've kind of been conflicted all day long. We've already seen one team fully tank, the Wizards. They've already said no starters are playing past the 3rd quarter anymore, right? That's 2 straight games. They don't care. They're not playing their starters. What do you think the Pacers are going to do? Because I think, one, when Zubac comes back, they're good enough to probably become the 10th best or the 10th worst team in the NBA. But do you even risk it? I guess. How quickly do the Pacers start tanking is my question.
Yeah, you have to have some concern there because if that pick does convey to the Clippers, they have paid a massive price for Zubac.
Yes.
I do think it's a perfect fit and might even potentially be worth it next year when Halliburton comes back. But obviously, they would prefer to keep that pick with as strong as the upcoming draft is as well. It's a very valuable asset, so they want to hang on to it. I don't think they feel confident enough that they can get beyond 10. So I think they do try to stay in that top 4. Which then we talk about the shenanigans and stuff. Do they limit their starters to 30 minutes? Do they start taking them out of the game in the before the fourth quarter? Like, there's definitely some things that we have to consider here. With Zubac out today, I'm not all that concerned about it. I don't know. I saw John bet Milwaukee plus 1.5 or whatever. I think that's a great bet because Indiana's not going to try to win the game. And it's hard to say that because the players are going to try, but there are some things they can do with the rotation that maybe just tilt the odds ever so slightly towards them losing a little bit, a few more games, which I think they will do. How drastic that is to be determined, but definitely something we need to consider.
Right. Because it is a great game.
Yes.
I just don't know. Dude, it's already a situation in Washington. And I understand, but to keep the pick, they need to suck. Continue to suck. So it is an interesting, I think it's a very fascinating talking point when we're on any slate with a tanking team because the Pacers have motivation and incentive to tank.
Yep. I mean, they've had no problem losing games with this iteration of the team. So I'm not necessarily worried about it today. It's once Zubac's coming back and just absolutely erasing 2 of their biggest weaknesses, which is interior defense and rebounding, could maybe change the outlook of this team. So I do agree. Keep an eye on it going forward. I'm not concerned about it for tonight specifically.
Okay, for all those in chat, thank you. Happy Friday to all. Patrick is in here. Happy Friday, having a drink, 5 o'clock somewhere, including here. Good afternoon from Daryl. Hopefully we can have some good games today. Agreed, Daryl, 100%. Some guy in here, good evening. BWM says James and Keith. Shout out to you. Straight Cash Homie, what it do, baby? What it do, baby? Steve, John and James we were goofy on this morning's preview. It was a goofy preview show where we talked bowl in the middle of the show.
Oh wow.
It was it's 4 games, Sometimes the 4-game slates they really take a turn. Crab Shingun in the house. Gorgie Jang, oh my God, Gorgie Jang. Usman Jang is available as we talked about. Pharaoh's in the chat. What's happening to you, Pharaoh? To Prince, you didn't miss a lot. Welcome. HTTR howdy. I'm assuming that's hail to the Redskins. I think they are no longer the Redskins. Left hand up. Who are we? The Commanders. That's the jam that I live by. Carmelo is my favorite Bull. Yep, Carmelo, long-lived Bull stint for sure. Picking center tonight is going to be fun, but I'm rolling Klingon. This is obviously a FanDuel thing. Maybe we'll get some. If you guys have FanDuel questions, throw them in the chat and we'll get to them at the end because we should have a little bit of time. Drew Holiday got 20 minutes. That's FanDuel. We got another FanDuel Niederhauser. Brent is me. Hey guys. LOL. I love that you say hi to everyone. That's awesome. Hello. Fellas, I'm late. Yes, you are. I'm just kidding. The show was amazing. Politics and all. No politics. We were just apologizing to the Green Party and to the Independent Party. Okay? That's all. You're just apologizing to those 2 parties. Again, wild show this morning. Gorgie Jang. DraftKings is their site. I play FanDuel. My cousin played for them. Go Washington. Mad Max. let's get into the slate, Keith. Point guard. Sorry, a little more housekeeping. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Point guard, we go. The Dread said, "Respect family." Gotta. One more comment, then we'll get into the show. Okay, thank you, Dread. We appreciate you very much. All right, point guard. Cade, 10-2. Brunson, 89. Ryan Rollins, 85. Trey Murphy, 83. We'll talk Derek White at shooting guard. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. What say you about the top of point guard here, Keith?
Ceiling, I think, is the operative word. Neither play stands out for the matchup or the game environment. Two slower paced teams, two pretty good defensive teams. But Cade Cunningham can absolutely break any slate he's on. He gets a little bit of a boost if Duren is unable to play. So absolutely playable anytime he's on the slate. Not necessarily one of my top targets today, but very much in play. Brunson, you do get a little savings with him, and he also looks like he will get Cat out today. So a nice bump for him. I like saving the money going down to Brunson over Cade slightly. We know that he has a massive ceiling as well. I think you're muted, James.
Sorry, I had caught my cough. I'm trying to catch my cough, and now I've had John to host the show, so I've been able to navigate. But now I gotta, we're learning on the fly. What do you make of the Milwaukee guards and Trey Murphy? Because obviously Milwaukee is in a tremendous spot. No Giannis, no Kuzma. We still don't know the Portis status. What do you make of the Milwaukee guards and Trey Murphy here?
Yeah, I really like the Milwaukee guards. We've talked about that game environment. Indiana's been a team to attack all season long. Maybe that changes when Zubac gets acquiesced or integrated to the team, but they look really good today. Rollins has been incredible. His peripherals do take a little bit of a hit with KPJ on the floor, and KPJ is cheaper. So I slightly prefer KPJ. Okay. There is a little concern about the minutes. He only played just under 25 in regulation.
Yep.
He played the full overtime period as well. That's what got him up to 29. So there is some risk that he maybe only plays 26, 28 minutes in this spot. But I feel pretty good about him just coming back and playing those 29 at least in the 48 regulation minutes tonight. If that's the case, he's too cheap at 7,500 for this matchup. He has been incredible with Giannis off the floor. You take Kuzma off as well. Even if Portis is able to play, KPJ is one of my favorite plays on the slate.
I agree. I think I made him the cover,
I believe. Yeah.
This show and the playbook. I double cover boyed him, which I don't know if that's a jinx or not, but I guess we'll find out. I kind of agree. Didn't like seeing less than 25 minutes. I guess essentially 25 minutes in regulation, but I feel pretty confident considering he was able to get to 29. It doesn't feel like it would go down from there because he got through 29. If you remember when he first came back, it went 25 to 31 in right. and that was after I believe it was knee surgery, wasn't it? Didn't he have a minor knee procedure done? I'm pretty sure he played the first game of the year, had a knee surgery, and then immediately was all right, I'm good. 30 minutes, second game back. So
that's a great point, because the upside when he's right is 38 minutes.
Yes.
So
yes.
32, 34 minutes would surprise no one. And if that's what we get from him today, he's way too cheap.
It's kind of the Jokic discussion, right, that we were having. And then Jokic played 46 minutes or whatever in overtime the other day.
On a minutes restriction.
On the second leg of a back-to-back, they're just screw it, we need the win. So, yeah, I think they both look great. And I also agree with you on KPJ. I lean that way. Is Murphy the odd man out, or are you interested in tournaments as a tournament player in Trey Murphy because of the ceiling?
Yeah, you have to have interest in the ceiling. The guy has just been incredible. It's not a particularly great matchup against Minnesota, but that just hasn't mattered. He's shooting the ball great. He's taking a ton of shots, which is what you want to see out of him. He does the peripheral stuff well enough, but really it's the scoring upside that really gives him the ceiling.
Yeah, 1-3 away from being the all-time leader in made threes in a game.
Crazy.
12 of 19. If he goes 13 of 19, he's literally made the most threes in a game ever. Let's dip down below KPJ. Give me some targets, because I think that this is a personally. I think that this is a spend up spot. This has been a position I haven't necessarily gravitated to value. There's one that we'll talk about. The obvious guy that we could talk about that has point guard, shooting guard eligibility. But give me your take on the rest of point guard, if there's anyone that intrigues you at all.
I do think Nemhard is intriguing. We talked about the Indiana stuff and maybe the potential for them to cut starters minutes a little bit to tank artificially. I still think they're ceiling there. Milwaukee has not been a good defense all season long. Now you take Giannis off the floor and they're like bottom of the league defense. So it's a great matchup for Indiana. I don't mind some shots on Nemhard. I do like Pritchard in his new bench role. He's been incredible from that role. I will say Vucevic, and not seeing him in this rotation, I'm not quite sure what that does. And I'm not sure I want to pay $7,200 for Peyton Pritchard, despite the great pace-up spot for Boston today. Probably sit him out today. But yeah, I do think both of those guys have upside. Pritchard's certainly more risky than Nemhard, even though both of them do have a little risk. I don't have a ton of interest in anything until we get down to like the 4K range. Bones Highland, what's up?
I was going to ask about his teammate because he's getting a lot of ownership. What do you make of the DiVincenzo ownership?
Yeah, I just don't ever play a ton of DiVincenzo.
I don't either. I don't with him.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, yes, he's fine. If you need a 6K guard, like that's fine, but I'm certainly not prioritizing him or anything.
Dude, he's popular. I was like pretty surprised at the popularity.
It is an elite 3-point matchup.
Yes.
And that is what he does. So the matchup fits him very well. I will say that.
Yeah. And like, I guess if you look at in these games where he's had ceiling 3-point volume and output and makes efficiency, 32, 36, 40, just on the screen, right? Like the 3 games where he's made 5 threes, he's obviously had good outings. No Ayo Dosunmu, and you know that was going to be your Bones point, I'm sure, or part of it. I don't know. I'm with you on Dante. Like I don't play a lot of DiVincenzo. It is a good spot, and Minnesota is the team with the highest implied total of the day. So I'm currently I would be lower than the field at nearly 30%. That's kind of how I view it. But
agreed. Yeah.
I also like if someone asked about DiVincenzo, I'd be like, yeah, it's what he does against the team that allows the second most threes per game.
Is Randall still questionable? Because if Randall ends up getting rolled out, then this is a little bit different conversation.
He is still questionable, and that's 100%. I agree, because an already short rotation just gets shorter.
Exactly. Yep.
So I agree there. I just don't know if it's a full team. Like, you know, he's been really efficient from 3. He can be, but he has to be in order to pay off a $6,200 price. Again, not against them. Just kind of indifferent about the play if Minnesota's healthy. You were going to talk Bones.
Yeah, with Ayo not being here, they've obviously traded Dillingham, and Conley is now back with the team. I don't think he's available tonight, but they did re-sign him after Conley made the tour around the league at the trade deadline. But he's not. I don't think he's available for tonight. So that means Bones basically gets all the backup minutes. If the game gets out of hand, he's going to get a ton of blowout run. I think there's upside here. I don't necessarily love the price if he plays 18 minutes, but I do think there's upside for him to play low 20s.
Yeah, the 26 minutes he ran incredibly hot, and they're not taking him off the floor in that game. I mean, he's just 8 for 12 from the floor. So I agree. Wide range of outcome for minutes, but obviously there is a solid ceiling for minutes. We'll talk Pelican stuff at shooting guard, okay? Oh, Keith has dropped. Keith has now returned. Welcome back, Keith.
That was weird. I did not do anything. It kicked me out and then put me right back in. So I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but here we are.
Welcome back. It was the meme. It was the meme where you left or you came in, you put your hat on the thing and grabbed it. Yeah, the Simpson meme. And welcome back. It's like you never left. We'll talk Pelican stuff at shooting guard because I want to get your take on some of the cheap Pelican value or supposed value that we'll talk about here in a second. We'll go to shooting guard unless you had anything else to talk about at point guard.
TJ McConnell's playable,
Oh,
but
yeah.
not anything exciting. I prefer the Pelicans guy that we're talking about.
Okay. Shooting guard. Anthony Edwards. No brainer.
Yeah, I mean, it's an elite spot.
Yeah.
New Orleans is terrible on defense. They allow a ton of threes. They allow a ton of points in the paint. Like that, just it's an elite matchup for one of the best players in the league. So, yep. And he's under 10K.
Under 10K. What else do we like at shooting guard? I found that this is a bad position. I think that's why there is a certain Pelican getting a lot of ownership. Two of them at this position, actually. Does Derek White interest you? Josh Hart, Norm Powell? Does any of that intrigue you at all?
Not particularly. White's ceiling, I'm a little concerned about with Vooch. Who knows what this looks like? Maybe Vooch is a non-factor here, but if he comes in and takes 20% usage, like that's more than what Kata takes. So
yes,
who suffers from that? Derek White, I think, is a candidate to kind of lose some usage in this spot. And he doesn't have all that great of a ceiling at 8,200 anyway. So
right.
Not a ton of interest there. Powell is fine, but nothing exciting.
Would you play Hart? I mean, no, if it like Towns downgraded to doubtful and OG downgraded to questionable. No McBride, we already know. They also don't have Jose Alvarado.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. Not somebody who was really on my radar. Like the matchup against Detroit is a difficult one that I don't typically target. But Hart has so many ways to get there that I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either. It's in a shallow position. If you're looking to be different, I think Josh Hart. Not that he's the fourth highest roster shooting guard, but that also has to do with his multi-positional eligibility. When we drop below Norm, I think Pelle Larsson's pretty hard to get to with Norm back. I think that price tag is pretty impossible to pay. AJ Green in the worst possible three-point matchup. Can he continue his shooting? Herb Jones is getting a lot of ownership today. He is $4,800. Duncan Robinson's listed probable. What say you about this like 5K and upper 4K tier? Anything?
Herb Jones, I think, is the one that you were alluding to. It's maybe getting a little bit of ownership that we're not sure if it's warranted, but I do get the case. He's played mid-30s minutes the last two games. The role is secure. He does a little bit of everything. Not a great matchup, but at a weak position, I can understand it. Certainly not somebody that I want to try to get over the field on, though.
I was actually talking Jeremiah Fierce was the guy that I was.
You mentioned there were two of them.
Well, there's that. I guess three because I have one. I also have one that I've been confused about the ownership all day. Fears I'm not confused by because we have point guard, shooting guard eligibility. He's sub 4K. They traded Alvarado. Feels like Fears should step into like mid 20s minutes, right? As like a role.
Yes, without Alvarado, I think there's upside for mid 20s here. I think he's locked in for like 18, and then there's upside to go beyond that, unless we're about to talk about a guy who I think probably DNP CDs, which is
yes.
There's a threat to Fear's role if we're going to talk about Jordan Poole. I don't think they have any interest in him being in the rotation right now, but maybe you have different thoughts on that.
No. I'm shocked he's still on this team.
Yeah.
Dude, they're paying him a lot of money.
Well, that's probably why he's still on the team.
Right. But like usually, like when all like the Miami trades were being floated, right? Terry Rozier was attached to like all of them.
Yeah.
Because his expiring contract. I'm just saying, like, I feel like they would play Jordan Hawkins before they would play Jordan Poole.
I completely agree.
Like, former first-round pick, like, 3 years ago. And, like, they straight have DMP'd him for 2 weeks. Not that Hawkins has played, but his ownership has been weirdly high all day long. I have been looking all over social media and like reporters to see if anyone has spoken to James Borrego about like Jordan Poole re-entering the rotation. There's nothing to be found. Like, why do we believe Jose Alvarado's absence would put Jordan Poole back into rotation?
I mean, Alvarado missed time like a couple weeks ago, and Poole didn't jump back into the rotation. The only thing I will say is maybe they were protecting him from an injury leading up to the trade deadline.
For the trade deadline, right.
In case someone wanted him. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. I think they've seen what they need to see from him, and at this point, like I don't see him playing big minutes. Certainly not. There's too much risk there that I want. I'm not playing him.
If we because if we don't get word, like if there's no anything from the Pelicans, I'm just not going here. I would literally rather take a shot on a Hawkins or like even like Micah Peavy, who I think these players who would play before Jordan Poole. I just don't think that there's any commitment to Jordan Poole at this point. So we will see if we're wrong. We'll see what the end result is, but yeah, I was just kind of fascinated with the ownership all day because it was like double what it is now, but it's still much higher. Like the fact that it's even double digits is shocking to me at this point. Is there anything else at the guard position or at shooting guard rather?
No, nothing for me.
Okay. We'll talk maybe some Knicks stuff here at small forward. Small forward Jaylen Brown tops the list. He is $2,600 more than anyone else. Is there anything you have bad to say about Jaylen Brown in this spot?
No, I've talked about the Vooch and how he fits into the rotation a couple of times already. He's not going to affect Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is still going to go out there and get his 36% usage. He's done it all season long, no matter what the starting lineup is, no matter who's coming off the bench. Like he's just going to get his. So no worries whatsoever about JB.
Anthony wanted to talk Ben Shepherd. I don't want to talk Ben Shepherd.
No.
We never need to talk Ben Shepherd. Brad is talking about Edwards, Porter, Zion. Anxious Dog Mom and Jake are having a side conversation. Congrats on your guys connecting in chat here. Memphis, we'll talk FanDuel at the end of the show to Prince. I agree, though. Hit the like button if you guys haven't. We appreciate all the support greatly. Jake is playing at the YMCA. That is a start. We'll talk center position GTM in a bit. Straight Cash says Cam Spencer. Again, we will revisit the FanDuel, I promise. Dave said you're going to jail if you don't hit the like button. I'm not going to arrest you, but possible. I don't love Pelle Larsson. Do you have any different opinions, Keith? I mean, I said I didn't, but I didn't really ask. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I don't have a ton of interest there.
Okay. Yes, we like Bones. We talked Bones as well. Pritchard has not been starting, but the new role is Peyton Pritchard off the bench. I expect that to continue. Okay. Jaylen Brown, elite, not affected by Nikola Vucevic. I agree. Rest of small forward. Anyone that we haven't talked about, first person is Sadiq, 68, yep. Jaquez Jr., 67, Mikal Bridges, 66, Jaden McDaniels, 64. Anything in that tier?
Sadiq is certainly interesting. The guy just continues to score, continues to put up big-time games, even alongside Zion and Trey Murphy with them doing what they're doing. So good for him. Not a primary target for me. I actually prefer Jaden McDaniels in this spot. This dude's been on an absolute tear. At least 19 points in each of his last 4, and now he gets the elite matchup. He scores a lot of his points from three-point range. The Pelicans allow a ton of three-pointers. Tie his team total on the board. I like Jaden McDaniels quite a bit more than the field today.
I completely agree. I have also been up on McDaniels. Like that's kind of I think where both you and I are getting our Minnesota leverage too, from like DiVincenzo going to
Yep.
McDaniels, kind of at the same price point. Yeah, I like McDaniels as well. What about when we dip into the 5K and value range? Asar Thompson is someone who's very interesting, especially if Duran sits. Jarris Walker's role should increase without Ben Matherin. Aaron Neesmith is 5,600. He's getting a bunch of ownership. What do you say about what's your what's your thoughts on those three?
Yeah, I don't think any of those three have near the ceiling that McDaniels does. So I
Agreed.
just spend a little bit more money and try to get up to McDaniels, but they're all fine. They're all going to have a solid role. But I don't know what the ceiling is for any of them. So not anything I feel comfortable with, really.
Okay. Is there any value you feel comfortable with?
Talked Herb already, and that's really about it. The Knicks improve. We saw Shamet play a ton of minutes. We could talk about Shamet. Jordan Clarkson started last game. If they are super shorthanded, maybe we can go back to that. But as of right now, I don't have interest in them.
I agree. I think if OG is ruled out, then that things change a little bit because then we're down 3 key rotation pieces, right? Towns, McBride, and OG if he sits. So
yep.
I agree. I don't think there's anything else, and we'd probably say the same thing about Jordan Clarkson as well.
Correct.
Power forward we go. Pascal Siakam 8,800, Julius Randle 81, Zion Williamson 8K, Bobby Portis 77 is the top of the power forward position. How would you break those 4 people down?
So I like Siakam a ton today because of the matchup. Milwaukee, I mentioned 24th in defensive rating and much worse with Giannis off the floor. They allow over 2 points more per 100 possessions without Giannis on the floor. It's an elite spot for a very good player. The minutes are somewhat concerning, but like I said, I'm just not that concerned about it today. I'm going to get to some Siakam because the field's not getting to a ton. I'm showing a lot more ownership on Randall, which I get it because of the matchup, but I don't love that he's playing through the Q tag. McDaniels is playing really well right now, and then obviously Ant is the lead guy here. So Randall can certainly find a ceiling, don't get me wrong, but I prefer getting up to Siakam or even going down to Zion, who has a little bit tougher matchup. But minutes have been solid. Even with Murphy playing well, he's still getting his points, doing a little bit of everything. So I don't mind Zion. Randall's probably the one I'll be underweight on.
I definitely like Julius Randle tonight. I like Siakam a bunch, and I also like Zion as well. I'm interested in Julius Randle. I mean, the minutes, dude, 35, 40, 36. This is not your like Julius Randle. I feel like is typically the guy that sits in like the low 30s, but the fact that we have a 40-minute ceiling looks pretty good to me. So I don't disagree. Like he's about the same ownership as Ant. He's actually surpassed Ant in ownership. That is something that I would probably like consider lowering my exposure to Randall if Ant is lower owned than him. That's a little interesting to me.
Yeah, he's just like I said, it's a great spot for him, and he's a fine player. It's just I don't know that he hits a ceiling like a 50-point ceiling often enough where I want to try to get over up to like 30-40% of my lineups. That's a lot of exposure that you need to get some leverage there. So I probably just go under that and hope that he doesn't hit the ceiling. And then I can even double down on my leverage with Ant or Jaden McDaniels.
What do you think about Nas?
I like that. That's another pivot. Even in a blowout, could find a few extra minutes. We know he's great per minute. He shoots threes. It's a great 3-point matchup. I'm into Nas quite a bit.
I was looking at I was kind of looking at like situations where Nas Reed and his team faces like double bigs. because I just wanted to see like what their rotations are. He's actually played 32 minutes in both the games against the Pelicans, and Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert were in both those games. So I just thought it was interesting because obviously the Pelicans are going to run a double big lineup, right? So
yeah.
if Naz Reid were to get to 32 minutes tonight,
Yeah, I was gonna say
he's probably. I mean, there's like a 50-point fantasy ceiling in there.
yes.
So,
Love that.
yeah. So I am. You know, he's not. This isn't a secret. He's the third highest rostered power forward of the day. That's again, he is center eligible as well, so that helps. But just throwing that nugget out there, Keith. What about the rest of power forward? Is it skip everything until we get to Jay Huff?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe Isaiah Stewart. I know he was awful last night. If he goes back to the bench, maybe that improves his outlook. Yeah, I mean, Wiggins is fine, but not exciting. I don't think I'm playing Tobias Harris off an injury. Yeah, nothing that I like until we get to Huff.
Have you ever? How many times have you built a lineup with 7 fire flames and then somebody with 5 fantasy points?
Yeah, it's happened a few times, but I saw you drop that into Discord. That's just
brutal. Just a
brutal. Absolutely brutal.
It's a sad, like, it's never a sad day when you make money, but it's a sad day when you make money that way.
Yeah. When one guy prevents you from getting much higher in a
much more money. Yes, much more money. Yeah. I want more money. Not to sound greedy, just I wanted more. He didn't get any. I would, for the record, we say this all the time. Goldfish memory, right? DFS, goldfish memory. If there's no Duren, we just move on. And if Isaiah Stewart plays 30 minutes, then he plays 30 minutes tonight.
Yep.
Like, Jay Huff. Okay, let me ask you like this: Does Jay Huff start tonight?
Yes, he does.
Okay. And unless, if he does,
I mean, what the option would be: start Walker and move Siakam to the 5, right?
So, Yep.
Yeah. They could do that, but I think he starts.
If he doesn't start, concern level with Jay Huff?
Obviously much more risk, but still
right.
very much in play. Like he's gonna see over 20 minutes, I think, in any scenario. It's just he doesn't quite have upside for 28 minutes if he's coming off the bench. If he starts, then I think he does.
I also think if he's safe regardless if Micah Potter is ruled out, because then they don't have other bigs to go to.
Yes. So like that's interesting. I think if Potter gets ruled out, they might actually go to the Siakam 5 lineup.
Right. Because then
he's their only backup big.
Right.
But I still feel good about him playing 25 plus minutes from that role without Potter.
Agreed. Yeah. So monitor. Never thought I'd say this, Keith. Monitor the Micah Potter news.
Yeah.
First and only time you'll ever hear that hard-hitting analysis. Ron Holland thoughts. I mean, I know he started the second half yesterday. I know Toby's probable, so probably don't need to go here. But
yeah, we had Toby back.
Okay. All right, let's go to center, and then we'll sift through the FanDuel questions as well because there's been a lot of them. I'm sorry, I'm hitting you with the FanDuel, making you pull up FanDuel, which I apologize for, but
we can do it.
All right, let's talk center. Anthony, I think at some point. Anthony asked about Naz Reid. We answered that. I think Anthony also asked us about Bam. Grande, not you, Keith. So you actually have to stay out of this one. Do you think Bam is the top center, or would you play Naz Reid?
I do get to answer.
Yes. Yes. You actually get the answer. I was kidding.
It's interesting. This Vooch and how he fits into Boston, I think, is incredibly interesting. Vooch is a center to attack, like for sure.
Yes,
he is awful defensively. I don't know what his role is going to be. Does he start and play 30 minutes? I don't think so. So therefore, I don't love the matchup necessarily. Boston plays so slow. I prefer Naz for the savings. I'll just say that.
Agreed. I said this to John. I don't know what Boston's going to do, but when Vooch was traded, he told the media he would be willing to come off the bench. So
Interesting. Yeah.
just which I actually don't think is the worst idea for Boston. If they started Keita and played Vooch off the bench, or they just split time. There's obviously one of those players is good on one end of the floor and one of them is better on the other. So,
Yep.
split the time and that makes sense, but we'll see. I agree on Nas for sure. What about Duran if he plays? Any thought to playing Jalen Duran? Obviously, big letdown yesterday. You can't really fault him. He got hurt. It is what it is. Would we go back to the well if he's in?
Yeah, fine. I do have some concerns about maybe a re-aggravation there, so I wouldn't go very heavy on him, but he's fine.
Okay. What interests you at center then? I mean, Nas is the obvious pick because he is available here. But outside of Nas and J Huff, is there anything that really stands out to you?
Yeah, I mean, when we get way down cheap, there's definitely a couple.
Okay.
In this mid-range here, Queen is the ceiling guy. Certainly
Agreed.
don't mind taking some shots there. Yeah, I don't really have a ton of interest. I still think Keita plays. Like I said, I don't think Vooch is going to come in and play 30 right away. Keita still probably finds 22, 24 minutes. So he's playable, but I don't love it in a matchup against Bam. Mitchell Robinson is just the obvious one, right? Without Cat, probably starts. Even if he doesn't start, going to play 25 minutes probably. Great spot for Mitch Rob.
What do you think his minutes are, and what do you think Hawk Purdy's minutes are? And would you give Hawk Purdy any love?
Yeah, I think they basically split the 48. Mitchell Robinson's not going to come out here and play 30 minutes. We know that. If he starts, I think the upside is 26, 28 minutes. If they start Hawk Purdy, which I think is very viable, they still just basically split the 48 right down the middle, 24 and 24.
Okay. I mean, he's been good in previous, when he gets extended, he has been a 16 rebounds. I mean, look at all these games. You're getting 20 plus fantasy points in basically every game he's played 20 minutes in, which he's stone cold min salary. That is. Yep. I played Tristan Vukcevic in 11 minutes last night, Keith. You know what he did? He went for 35 fantasy points, okay? You don't need a lot of time, and these highly active centers don't need a lot of time to go crazy. I do fully agree with your Mitchell Robinson take. It's good to see him get these 27 minutes to know that that's possible. Obviously live for a double-double, live for 12 offensive rebounds.
Yeah, I mean he's live for a double-double when he plays 18 minutes. So we give him 26, and yeah, absolutely. I just you'd expect a double-double almost.
We had Travis ask us about Pete Nance. I think Milwaukee is a absolute crapshoot, but if Pete Nance, Portis in, Pete Nance, Portis out.
Right. If Portis is in, no Pete Nance. Portis out, yes, Pete Nance.
Okay, yep. It is that simple. I agree. Do you feel the same way about Jericho Sims?
Yep, sure do. And I know Kuzma's out, but I just with Portis playing the 4, that kind of cuts into those two guys. That's why they were getting run. I don't think either of them see the floor. You can't play Portis at the 3. So.
All right. Anything else at center that you want to talk about? I think we had a couple Luka Garza questions. What do you make of what Boston? I mean, Hauser's back, so I don't know how many minutes he's going to play at power forward. But do you think Garza's still in the rotation?
I mean, that's what I said. I just don't know what to expect. I need to see Boston because didn't they start him next to Keita?
Yes, they both started, but there was no Hauser or Brown.
Right. So, yeah, I'm obviously not saying he's going to start, but there's a possibility that he plays next to Vooch. I don't know. I don't see a path to any more than 16 minutes is the problem.
Yeah.
I think he could still be in the rotation though. Yeah.
Grande is Mitchell Robinson sneaky? You can't answer this, Keith. Have you discussed Mitchell Robinson? Yes, we like Mitchell Robinson a bunch.
Definitely not sneaky.
Yeah, definitely not sneaky. He is currently, Keith, I'm gonna update here, but I believe last I looked, he was the highest rostered player of the slate. That is currently still true. He is the number one rostered player. Jamming him with reckless abandonment doesn't feel great because his great history of injuries, but he is a great play. Do you limit how many Wolves, Steve asks, in a lineup, Keith? This is a good question because the Wolves are not cheap necessarily.
Right. So, I mean, yes, I don't think that I'll have to do it just because you won't naturally get a cluster of Wolves. I don't think. I wouldn't play any more than 3, certainly.
Agreed.
And I'd probably try to keep it to 2. Like, even if you're talking DiVincenzo, McDaniels, Nas, the 3 cheapest ones that I would play. All right. So I forgot about Bones. If we're going Bones, I would definitely play 3.
Yep. That's my exact take as well.
Yep.
And I probably don't pair Randall or Ant. I probably play max one of those and then pair with one of the mid tier and then Bones.
Exactly what I would do. Yep.
Paul Reed is an interesting shout. That is completely contingent on the Duran news.
Right. Definitely in play if Duran's out.
Okay, we'll get a couple FanDuel questions here. Is it worth paying up for Klingon when you can get almost the same output from Time Lord? Time Lord has been insane the last few games. That is 100% fact. Insane. I also think there's a good value center on FanDuel as well. With Sabonis is out, there's a couple of them. So,
yeah, I don't know that Time Lord can continue this. This is like the Ty Jerome argument. Can Ty Jerome keep doing that in 20 minutes? Probably not. Can Robert Williams keep doing this in 18 minutes? I lean no. Eventually, it's gonna not show up. I mean, absolute ceiling games, 3 times in a row? Is he playable? Sure. Is he like a must jam? No, I don't think so.
Well, what about this question? Would you play Time Lord over Klingon if you word it like that? Klingon on FanDuel is $7,100. Time Lord is $4,600.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that. I think they're both very much in play. Looking at the Memphis side, they might want, does Klingon get run off the floor here? They just don't have any bigs.
Yeah, Omax, right? And Hendricks, that's probably their 2 bigs tonight.
Yeah, are they bigs?
No, this is the Bulls argument. No, this is the Bulls 2.0. Agreed. Klingon could definitely get run off the floor. Dylan Cardwell or Mitchell Robinson?
Yeah, I mean, I assume their prices are similar over there.
Mitchell Robinson. Yeah, their Cardwell's actually $100 more. It's Mitchell Robinson in that case, probably, right?
Yeah, I mean, just like a single entry, I think you're playing Robinson. But if you're multi-entering multiple lineups, then absolutely play some Cardwell.
Yeah, and you probably in that case you want to get some Reynaud shares too, because Reynaud has started for Sabonis and been really good fantasy wise. Anthony wants to know if Trey Murphy can hit 70 fantasy points again, or would you be safe and go Cade Cunningham?
He can hit 70 fantasy points again. I don't know for sure that he's going to.
Be careful with your words. I did this about Sadiq Bey, and then he went for 50 again.
Yeah, I mean, they're also not the same price, so there's that argument. I honestly, I slightly prefer Murphy today. I'm not saying he's going for 70, but I do like Murphy more.
Agreed. Paul Reed or Mitch Robb if Jalen Duren does not play?
Ooh. What did Paul Reed do yesterday? 13 minutes. I got to go Mitch Robb there.
A little skewed because Dern did play 13 first half minutes, but I don't think
Right.
it would have been much. I don't think it would have been much more. I agree on the Mitch Rob front. Ty Jerome is a dog, absolutely a dog. Gobert thoughts.
Uh, I mean, obviously a fantastic spot. I just don't play a ton of Rudy Gobert. He's fine, but I don't know what the ceiling is necessarily. I prefer 5 other Wolves before him.
Yep, agreed. Sacramento plays, Keith. I would say Reynaud is probably my favorite king tonight, who's likely going to start. Any others? DeAndre Hunter's really cheap. He started in his debut. Russell Westbrook is 6,700 on FanDuel. Cardwell's 44. Levine's 6K. Any of that appealing?
Hunter's appealing. 26
Yes.
minutes in a starting role his first game. He shot like crap, and he's not going to continue to shoot like crap. So he's too cheap for that role.
Yeah, $4,700 is a really good price if he's going to start again. Marier Danyeezy, there's the respect. Comes in, we both get the shout. We always get just people coming in just ignoring one of us. Like the other person's not here. Thank you, Yeezy, appreciate it. Taylor Hendricks or Precious Achua, asks Michael.
Man, I don't feel good about Precious with
I don't
Hunter
either.
there now.
I don't either.
Like, I don't think you can play him. In 9 minutes last game, you can't play Precious.
It's probably
neither one is appealing, but
it's Hendricks by default, I think.
yes.
At least we know Memphis is like good playing like 10 guys 20 minutes, like at least he has a chance to get 20 minutes. Favorite stud on FanDuel. I'll just say Ant for me. That's my answer.
Yeah, I agree.
Kawhi is 96. He is the highest rostered player on FanDuel tonight. I just don't know what the minutes are going to be for Kawhi. Nothing tells me he's going to play more than 30 minutes again.
Yeah, I do think that he's probably still on that minutes restriction. We've seen him absolutely smash on that minutes restriction, though, also. Now we're taking Harden off the floor. While we were talking about all those cheap bigs, we didn't get any Clippers bigs questions, which is interesting because I do think that is a situation that is worth attacking, especially against Sacramento without Sabonis. Yannick Conan-Niederhauser has shown some skills, man.
Yes.
Like, I think he's very playable. Do you have his price there?
Yeah, 37. Yeah, 3,700.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Before Taylor Hendricks or who's it? Precious.
Yeah. Like 1% rostered. I actually wrote him up today in the playbook. You guys can find it at fantasylive.com. Yeah. I wrote him up today because I think he's gonna. And they made it clear like Brook Lopez is not part of this future. They drafted Niederhauser last year. They're gonna start playing him. Yeah, Funky. We talked Bones. The Prince said not Kawhi. Yeah, we like Kawhi. I don't know if you gave an official answer. I went Ant. Is your answer Ant or is?
Yeah, mine's Ant as well. Yep.
Okay. We're not going to do FanDuel each position, Stiegel. I'm sorry. If you have something more specific, we'll answer that. Kawhi a priority play? No, we prioritize Ant over Kawhi. Would you play both KP and Rollins? That's an interesting question.
I would not.
KPJ.
I would try to find the one that hits his ceiling.
Same thing with this, same exact question, except Hawk Purdy and Mitch Rob. You play one or the other.
So different because they are both super cheap. So I don't hate it, especially in like a single entry where you don't need the absolute top score. I do think you're limiting your ceiling a little bit by playing them together, but I do think it's viable.
Hart or Bridges, if you had to pick one.
Hart for me.
Agreed. Steve wants your super duper number one can't miss play of the day, and I forget there was a name to this, but I don't remember what it was.
That might be trademarked, so I'll let Steve throw it out there.
No worries. We don't want to get fined here.
Yep. Let's see. Number one play of the day. If I'm not considering ownership, even with ownership, honestly, I'm gonna lean first to Mitchell Robinson as just the first guy I'm putting in. I think my favorite tournament play a little bit off the board today is Jaden McDaniels.
Absolutely love that. I'm gonna go KPJ, but
Also a candidate for me, top of my list as well.
I'm gonna go KPJ. Giving Kawhi low minutes, definitely possible to give Kawhi low minutes. Cheap play Potter and Shamit. Like Shamit needs, if people are out, if everyone's out.
Yeah,
What
if
about
OG's
Potter?
out, Shamit is definitely the answer there. I don't have a ton of interest in Potter in any situation. I don't think. There's some games where he's been up at 18, 19 minutes. I just don't trust the minutes for Potter, honestly. Even without Isaiah Jackson there, I still feel like it's a 12-minute role.
I think the only way you can play Micah Potter tonight is if J Huff starts.
Yes, totally agree with that.
I think that's the only way. Brooke with an E, Lopez. Amanda just wanted to give that, just add the E for a little. Can't see the next comment. Sorry. Thoughts on Holland? We talked. I don't think either of us were like too bullish.
No, he's fine, but
a lot of questions today.
Love it.
Bridges over Hart. I think both of us would go Hart. Plum's play is what Dave said. Dave remembered. Dave has a good memory.
Yep.
Mitch Rob and JD. Is that Duran?
Yeah, gotta be. So opposing centers is the question there, which I do think negatively correlates. So good question here. I wouldn't block it from happening, but I do think that it is like if I'm building a single entry roster, I probably would not do it, honestly. I do think they negatively correlate. They're fighting for the same rebounds, all kinds of things there that negatively correlate.
Brunson or Cade? I think we answered this already. I think you
Brunson
answered this. Yep.
Yeah, just slight savings on Brunson. I think the ceiling is similar.
Travis is predicting a triple-double from Hart. Chris Dunn, good chalk, bad chalk. I vote bad chalk always with Chris Dunn.
Yeah, but we're talking FanDuel here, and he can have those crazy steal games.
It is FanDuel.
Is he still doing that thing? Yeah, 5 steals back on the 27th against Utah. Still, I don't know what the ownership number he's looking at.
He's the third highest rostered FanDuel.
Yeah, I would be under that if I was.
I'm under. I don't care. I'm under. I don't care who's available. I'm under. We'll answer a couple more. Scottie Pippen or Landry Shamet? I think that's easy. I think it's Pippen for me.
Yeah, you think he can play 20 plus minutes?
Dude, they're doing it with Ty Jerome. If Scottie Pippen plays 20 minutes, he's a good fantasy player.
Yeah, he is.
Scottie Pippen in 20 minutes is better than Landry Shamet in 30.
Yes, true.
Jordan Poole, we had to talk about this, Terry. We don't know if Jordan Poole is going to play. There's been no word about Jordan Poole re-entering the rotation. None. Zero. He may not. We both lean he doesn't. So we talked Nembhard. We liked Nembhard in tournaments. Too cute pivoting to Misi from Mitrob in large field.
I don't think it's too cute. I would say I would prefer just the pivot to Party on the same team because he directly benefits when Mitch fails. Party is the one that's going to benefit. Like if Robinson picks up 3 fouls in the first 5 minutes, Party's coming in the game. So I prefer that pivot, but I don't think it's necessarily too cute to go to Misi.
Agreed. Bones or Landry? I think both of us say Bones.
Yeah, just higher upside. Unless Shamet
Fears
plays 40
good chalk,
again, but that's not happening.
Yeah, unless Shamet plays 40. Right.
I mean,
Jeremiah Fears chalk.
I do think it's good chalk. Like the role, unless Jordan Poole plays, that's the thing that could nuke this. But assuming that Poole is a DNP, then Fears is good chalk. There's some risk there though.
Bones or Devin Carter on FanDuel? Devin Carter is $3,700. He played 23 minutes off the bench the other day.
Wow, not somebody who I
ever would have thought. Bones is 41.
I haven't dug into that rotation enough to feel great about those minutes, to be honest. So if you have a strong take there, go for it. I feel like with Monk and Clifford there, I don't feel great about those minutes being steady.
And Russ.
Yeah.
I'm going
me
Bones.
too.
John Collins, thoughts?
Totally fine.
Totally fine. That's a perfect way to describe John Collins. Totally fine.
Not exciting, but totally fine.
I see Shireman continuing to play as many minutes as he had, but I don't know if you have a different take.
Well, I think the Luka Garza thing could massively impact that. And Hauser back as well. Like, yeah, I agree. I don't think he continues.
Pippen has a questionable tag. Dave says Pete Nance or Davion.
Davion.
What about if Portis is out?
If Portis is out, I'd go Pete Nance.
Okay. Jordan Poole hasn't been the same since he got punched in the face. Agreed. We talked Scottie Pippen, and Steve wants to know, last question, we'll get a quick core and then we'll get out of here. Can you play Drake May at point guard on Sunday?
Probably more of a shooting guard, weaker position, but
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I like the play.
I don't even know who Drake May is. Let's get a core play built here. Ant-Man, for sure. Nas.
Yes.
Mitchell Robinson.
Yes.
That feels Kevin Porter. That feels quite Jeremiah Fears.
Yep. And then you can pretty much do whatever you want from there.
And we'll leave it there. $6,200, small forward, util. Everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl on Sunday. Go Seahawks. Go Seahawks. Go Seahawks.
Are you just doing that to spite John?
What are you talking about? Who does John root for?
Is he not a Patriots fan?
Oh, he is a Patriots fan. I forgot. Yeah. Go Seahawks. Go. Everybody have a great weekend. Big shout out to you, Keith, for coming on the show. Big shout out to the chat for being super lit today. We'll catch you guys next week on Sunday night for the Monday slate. Everybody, again, safe travels, safe days. Do whatever you want this week.